Deep in the silent night, under a sky full of stars, a strange light moved across the clouds. It was not a plane. It was not a satellite. It was something different. Something not from this world. High above the earth, hidden behind a cloaking shield, a small silver spaceship floated. Inside it, a young alien girl named Rilla looked down at the planet. Her eyes were bright, full of curiosity. She was from the planet Valora, a place far away from Earth. Valora was advanced. The people there were smart, powerful, and emotionless. They studied the universe but never got close to any other species. Rilla was on a secret mission too. Study Earth's life. She was not supposed to talk to any humans. She was told, watch, but don't touch. Learn, but don't feel. She understood the rules. She believed she could follow them. But fate had other plans. Her ship landed quietly. In a forest at the edge of a small town, trees stood tall, and the wind whispered through the leaves. Everything felt peaceful. Rilla stepped outside wearing a special suit that made her invisible. Her boots made no sound on the ground. She walked slowly, scanning the area with her small device. It showed animals, plants, and heat signals. Suddenly, her scanner beeped. Someone was close. A human, she turned, ready to hide. But it was too late. A boy, around 18 years old, stepped out from behind a tree. His name was Liam. He had short brown hair, kind eyes, and a backpack on his shoulders. He looked like he had been walking. For a while, maybe he was out exploring. Rilla froze. Her heart beat faster. Liam didn't see her clearly, but he felt something was there. He heard the beep from her scanner. He looked around, confused. Then by accident, Rilla slipped on a small rock. Her cloaking device glitched for just 1 second. Liam saw a blur, a shape falling. Without thinking, he ran forward. "Hey, you okay?" he shouted. He reached out and touched her hand to help her up, and in that one moment, everything changed. Rilla gasped. A warm light shot through her wrist. A small symbol, like a glowing circle with 3 lines, appeared on her skin. It shimmered like fire. She looked at it in shock. Her soulmate indicator had activated. But how? That was impossible. Soulmate bonds only happen between Valorans. It's only once in a lifetime. It's only when 2 hearts matched perfectly. And it had never happened with another species, ever. Liam looked confused. He felt a small shock, too, like static but warm and gentle. He looked around. "Is someone there?" he said softly. "I felt something." Rilla didn't answer. She couldn't speak. Her voice was caught in her throat. She stared at her wrist, then at the human boy in front of her. "No," she whispered. "This can't be." She stood up quickly and activated her cloaking again. She ran back through the trees, fast and silent. Liam turned toward the noise, but saw nothing. Shadows and moonlight. "Strange," he said to himself. "What was that?" He looked down at his hand. It still felt warm. Meanwhile, Rilla rushed back to her ship. Her mind was spinning. She scanned her wrist again. The device confirmed it. Soulmate bond formed. Subject, human male. She sat down, breathing heavily. "This is a mistake," she said. "A system error. That's the only explanation." But deep inside, she knew. It wasn't an error. It was real back in the forest. Liam walked slowly back home. He couldn't stop thinking about this strange feeling, the shape he had seen. He didn't know it yet, but his life had just changed forever, and far above. In the quiet ship, Rilla sat alone, her heart racing, her mind full of questions. Why him, she thought. Why now? And what happens next? The stars watched in silence. The stars had barely moved across the sky when Rilla returned to her ship. She didn't speak. She didn't move much either. She just stared at her wrist, the glowing mark still pulsing like a heartbeat. Oh, me no. Valoran had ever experienced this. With a human. In fact, her teachers once said humans were too primitive, too emotional, too slow. But the mark didn't lie. The ship's AI had scanned it twice now. It showed the same result every time. Soulmate bond established. Across species. Match detected. Subject, human male. Rilla wanted to scream, but Valorans weren't raised to show emotion. Her hands were shaking anyway. She sat in the middle of the ship's control room, surrounded by silence. Okay. The control lights blinked quietly, unaware of the storm inside her. Outside, Earth looked calm, peaceful. But inside her, everything was chaos. She replayed the moment in her mind again and again. The human boy's face, his voice, the warmth of his hand. The way he looked at her, not with fear, but with kindness. Curiosity. Like he saw her back on Valora. People didn't look at each other that way. Her connection was based on logic, not feeling. The soulmate mark was rare and respected, but it was still data, a system match based on genetics and neural patterns. Love was considered weakness. Emotion was a glitch, but Rilla didn't feel weak. She felt alive still. She couldn't forget the rules. Contact with another species was forbidden. Bonding with one, it's unthinkable. A soft beep pulled her back. A transmission was coming in secure channel. She pressed the button. The screen flickered. A female voice spoke. Calm, cold. Agent R71. You were seen activating your landing pod. Unauthorized planetary contact confirmed. Explain your status. Rilla hesitated. Her heart pounded. Lying to Central Command was dangerous, but telling the truth, that could be worse. I detected a life form, she said. I made contact. Brief. No threat detected. There was silence on the line. Then the voice returned. You are to return for medical scan and memory upload. Orders are not optional. The screen went dark. Rilla stood up, but didn't move toward the controls. Instead, she walked to the window. Outside, the forest was still there, and somewhere down there. So was the boy. She didn't even know his name. She closed her eyes, and for the first time in her life, she made a choice that wasn't logical. She turned off the ship's tracker. Back in town, Liam couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned in bed, staring at the ceiling. That feeling, it hadn't left him. The touch, the warm energy that passed through him. It wasn't like electricity. It was softer. Like someone had reached inside his chest and gently woken up something that had been sleeping for years. And that shape, blurry and glowing, it didn't look human, at least not completely. He was sure of it now. Something, or someone, had been there in the woods, and he had touched it. He sat up and looked at the small sketchbook by his bed. Quickly he opened it and started to draw. Didn't know why, but his hand moved fast, like it already knew the lines. Within minutes, the shape of a face appeared. Not fully human, not fully alien. Eyes too large, features too smooth, but soft. Beautiful. Sad the next day, Rilla left her ship early. She had turned off all links to Valora. She was officially in hiding now. She wore her cloaking suit again, but moved slowly through the forest. She didn't want to run this time. She reached the edge of town and stood there, invisible, watching. She didn't know what she was hoping for. Then she saw him. The boy was sitting under a tree, a sketchbook in his hand. He wasn't scared. Didn't seem confused. He looked thoughtful. She stepped closer, still cloaked, still silent. Liam looked up suddenly. He didn't see her, but something in the air changed. He felt it again, that strange calm, presence. I know you're here, he said softly, not sure why he was talking. I don't know who you are or what you are, but thank you for not hurting me. Rilla's heart skipped. He wasn't afraid of her, not even a little. He didn't run, didn't scream. He just talked, like she was a person. Slowly, she did something risky, something she shouldn't. She turned off the cloaking field. Liam's eyes widened, but he didn't move. He just stared. You're real? He whispered. Rilla nodded. I'm not supposed to be, she said quietly. I shouldn't have touched you. Liam smiled. I'm glad you did. She looked down at her glowing mark, then at him. What's your name? She asked. Liam. Liam, she repeated. I'm Rilla. For a long moment, they just sat there, two beings from different worlds, connected by something neither could understand. The universe had made a choice. Now, they had to decide what to do with it. Far above them, hidden in deep space, a dark shape moved toward Earth. It had no name, no warmth, only one purpose: bring Rilla back and destroy anything that got in the way. The air felt different now. For Rilla, every second near Liam was strange, like the rules of her life were bending, breaking, and somehow healing. She had never been this close to anyone before, not on Valora, not even with her own kind. Liam didn't ask too many questions. Not yet. He simply looked at her with wonder, not fear. That surprised her more than anything. He wasn't scared of her sharp silver eyes or her glowing wrist, or the faint shimmer around her skin. In fact, he smiled, like he had been waiting for this moment all his life and just didn't know it. They met again the next day. Day after. Always in the forest. Always alone. Rilla still used her cloaking suit when walking into town or near other people. She knew being seen would change everything for her, for Liam, for Earth. Liam brought questions. She brought silence. "Are you going to leave?" he asked once while sitting by the river. "I should," she replied. "I broke the law just by speaking to you, but you didn't mean to," he said. "You just fell." "I didn't fall," Rilla corrected softly. "I hesitated." "Same thing," Liam grinned. "One makes you trip, the other makes you stay." Rilla didn't smile often, but something tugged at the corner of her lips that day. Just a little. Still, even in these quiet moments, a storm was building. And Rilla felt it coming. One night, while inside her ship, she decided to scan Liam's profile. The computer protested. Cross-species scans were restricted, but she overrode the warning. She needed to understand what had happened between them. The scan finished. Results appeared on the screen. Genetic compatibility, 92% match. Neural resonance, stable. Emotional frequency, synchronized. No errors, no system bugs. The bond was real. Guide believably real. Rilla's fingers hovered over the console. There was something else. A part of the scan that hadn't been there before. A shadow, trace signal. Someone had accessed her ship's systems, remotely. She froze. Valoran tech was nearly impossible to hack, except by other Valorans that could. Only mean one thing. They had found her. Liam was in his room when the power flickered. Just for a second, then the lights returned. He didn't think much of it, but his phone screen lit up by itself. A message appeared, though no number was shown. "Leave her." That was all. He stared at the words. His hand trembled. Tried to reply, but the message vanished before he could type anything. He ran to the forest the next morning. Rilla was already there, standing still by the trees, eyes distant. Shoulders tense. "They know," she said before he could speak. "They're watching." "Who?" he asked, his voice quieter than usual. "My people? What are they going to do?" She didn't answer. Instead, she looked up at the sky beyond the clouds. It's like she could already see them coming. "I thought I had time," she whispered. "I thought I could stay a little longer. Learn what this bond means." "You still can," Liam said. "We can figure it out." Rilla looked at him, her expression unreadable. "No, they don't wait." "Correct." She stayed outside her ship, hidden under the trees. Her senses stretched wide. Valoran scouts would not land in public. They would come quietly, fast, without warning, just before dawn. A sound cut through the quiet like air being sliced open. No light, no flames. It's just a hum that vibrated through the bones. A black sphere hovered above the ground not far from her ship. It was small, maybe the size of a car, but Rilla knew what it was. A hunter drone, not a messenger, not a tracker. A weapon. It scanned the area silently, searching for energy signatures, heat, sound, anything unnatural. Rilla activated her cloak and moved quickly. She needed to draw it away from the town, away from Liam, but she wasn't fast enough. Liam had followed her again. She saw him from behind the trees, standing near the edge of the clearing. Eyes wide, staring at the black sphere. The drone spun toward him. She didn't think. She ran in a flash. She threw herself in front of him, her cloak dropping as her body glowed bright with shield energy. The drone fired. The blast hit her shield, throwing her and Liam backwards. Pain shot through her side. Liam grabbed her eyes. Wild, what was that? What is that thing? Warning, she gasped, and a test. The drone hovered above, recharging. She stood up, weak but still glowing. Her hands sparked with Valoran energy. They won't stop, she said, voice sharp now. This was just the beginning. Liam stood beside her, scared but ready. Then we won't stop either. She turned to him. There's no we in war between worlds. There is now. Above them, the drone backed away, sending a signal into space. A signal that said only one thing. Target found, prepare extraction. Rilla and Liam had crossed a line. Now the universe was watching. The sky looked normal. Birds flew overhead. Trees stood quiet. The wind carried the smell of pine and wet soil. But something was wrong. Very wrong. Liam sat on the cold ground, staring at the broken pieces of a drone scattered around him. His hands were shaking. He had never seen anything like that before. Not in a movie. Not in a dream. The drone hadn't just attacked. It had aimed to kill. Next to him, Rilla stood silent. Her cloak was still half-active, flickering from the damage. Her side burned from the energy hit, but she didn't show it. Valorans were trained to ignore. Pain. But this pain felt different. Not just physical. It was fear. Not for herself, but for the human boy, who had stood beside her when he could have run. They were past the point of no return now. The signal had gone out. Valora knew where she was, knew what she had done, and they would come. Liam finally spoke. It's that thing. It tried to kill me. Rilla nodded slowly. It wasn't a warning. It was an order. From your people. Yes. They know I disobeyed. They know about the bond. Liam looked at her, confusion in his eyes. So what happens now? She didn't answer. Not because she didn't know. Because the answer hurt more than the silence. Later that evening, Rilla took him to the place no one else knew, an old half-buried Valoran outpost hidden deep beneath the forest floor. It had been left behind during a secret mission years ago. Abandoned, forgotten, but still functional. Metal walls covered in moss opened with her voice. Lights flickered to life as they stepped inside. The air smelled of dust and metal. Liam looked around in awe. You've had this here the whole time? It was backup, in case my ship failed. I never thought I'd need it for ... hiding. She activated the shields and scanned the skies. No drones nearby. For now, inside the base, the systems ran quietly. Rilla opened a map of Earth. Red dots began to appear. Valoran tracking signals. Slowly surrounding the area. The drones weren't coming alone. A hunter ship was on the way. Bigger, smarter, alive. They won't stop until they take me. She said, eyes locked on the map. Liam stepped forward. Then let's leave. I can't. They'll find me anywhere. Then I'll go with you. Rilla looked at him. Rilla looked at him. You don't understand what that means. It's leaving Earth. Leaving everything. Forever. Liam's voice didn't shake. I don't care. She wanted to believe that. Of her already did. But another part, the Valoran part, warned her it wasn't that simple. The bond was strong, yes. But it had never been tested. Not like this. Suddenly the base lights dimmed. A high-pitched noise filled the room. Barely audible, but sharp. Rilla's face changed. Oh, she knew the sound. A mind call, only sent by high-ranking Valorans. A direct message not to her ears, but to her thoughts. R71, surrender. You are infected. You are disobeying genetic law. Return for cleansing or face termination. She gasped and fell to her knees, clutching her head. Liam rushed to her. What's happening? She could barely speak. There in my mind, forcing control, Liam held her tightly. Fight it. Hands trembled. The glow from her wrist, the Soulmate mark, pulsed brighter. It was resisting, blocking the mind call. And then, silence. Rilla opened her eyes slowly. The connection had been cut. The bond had saved her. Liam had saved her, but that small act of resistance had sent a message, louder than any words. She had chosen the human. That night, they sat in the dim light of the base. Neither of them spoke for a long time. Finally, Rilla said, "I never thought a bond could feel like this." "Like what?" Liam asked softly, "like a revolution?" Far above them, the hunter ship entered Earth's orbit, black and silent, invisible to human eyes. Inside, a group of Valoran enforcers prepared. No emotion, no hesitation. They carried a single device, a memory eraser, and a final command: bring her home, erase the boy. Down below, Liam and Rilla didn't know how soon the sky would fall, but they could feel it. Time was running out. The ground trembled beneath the forest. It was subtle at first, just a soft vibration in the dirt, a low hum under the trees. No. But Rilla felt it in her bones. It was a familiar sound. The kind of sound you never forget, even after years of silence. She stood in the doorway of the underground base, her eyes locked on the sky, even though the stars were hidden behind clouds. Her voice was quiet when she spoke. "They've landed." Liam looked up sharply. "How many?" "One ship," she said. "But not small. It's a hunter-class transport. At least 6 enforcers." Liam swallowed hard. He didn't ask what enforcers were. He didn't want to know. But a cold feeling crept into his chest anyway. These weren't drones. These weren't machines. These were living beings like Rilla. Trained, loyal, and deadly. "They're not here to talk," she added. "So what do we do?" There was a long pause. "The kind that feels too quiet, even with the wind in the trees. We run," she said, "but not because we're scared." She cut him off, her voice harder now, "'Cause they'll destroy everything in their path if we stay. Your town, your people. They see humans as unstable, disposable." Liam nodded, "Then let's move." The next hour passed like a blur. Rilla packed tech from the outpost, old camouflage fields, signal jammers, a power crystal she hadn't used in years. Liam filled a small backpack with whatever he thought might help: maps, water, food. Even a flashlight he didn't need, but somehow made him feel safer. They didn't know where they were going, only that it had to be far, fast. By the time they reached the edge of the forest, the sky had darkened again. No stars. No moon, just clouds like shadows crawling over the earth. Then they saw it, hovering above a distant hill, black, silent. Like a shark waiting in the deep was the Valoran ship. No lights, no engines, just a presence. It didn't move like a machine. It moved like something that could smell them. Rilla grabbed Liam's hand. He didn't ask questions this time. He just followed. They ran. Through branches, across streams, over broken fences and rocky trails. Every sound behind them felt like a footstep. Every gust of wind, like a breath from something close. Finally, hours later, they stopped inside an old barn far from town. Dusty, abandoned, but solid. Rilla collapsed to the floor, breathing hard. Liam sat beside her. "Are we safe?" "No. We're hidden, right?" "Yes." For now, there was silence again. A heavy silence. One that sat in the air like a weight. Then Rilla looked at him. Really looked. "I need to tell you something." Liam turned to her, eyebrows raised. "If they catch us, they won't just erase my memory. They'll erase yours. Not with machines, with tech that rewrites everything. You'll forget me. Forget this. You won't even remember you were running." Liam stared at her. "You're serious?" She nodded. "And if that doesn't work, they'll remove you." He laughed, just once. Not because it was funny, but because it was unreal. "So that's the choice? Run forever, or disappear?" Rilla didn't respond. She just sat beside him, her back against the wooden wall, her shoulders tense. The Soulmate mark on her wrist still glowed faintly. So did his fingertips. A strange echo between their bodies, like the bond was trying to keep them calm. Liam looked down at his hand. "Why does this glow?" "It's the connection," she said softly. "It reacts to danger, to distance, to emotion. The stronger the bond, the brighter it gets. What happens if one of us dies? Her face changed. Like a storm had passed through it in a second, the other dot doesn't stay whole. No one spoke for a while after that, but the moment didn't last. A sharp noise shattered the air, a high whine, sharp and sudden, not from above. From inside the barn, Rilla jumped to her feet. They're here. A blast tore through the back wall. Splinters flew. Dust rose. Figures moved through the opening, tall, armored, emotionless. Valoran enforcers. Liam grabbed a broken piece of metal from the floor. What do I do? Rilla didn't answer. She stepped forward, her body glowing brighter, her hands pulsing. With energy, for the first time, Liam saw what she truly was. Not just a traveler, not just a girl from another world. A weapon. She launched a shockwave that threw the first enforcer back. Another raised a weapon. She blocked it with her arms, sparks flying. Liam tried to pull her back, but she didn't move. She was protecting him. One of the enforcers got close. Too close. A dart flew forward fast, silent, and hit Liam in the neck. His body froze. Rilla turned too late. Leah caught him as he fell. His eyes met hers, confused, afraid. And then slowly, blank. No, ... No, 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 she whispered, shaking him. The enforcer raised a new device, small, sharp, glowing blue. A memory extractor. Rilla screamed, not with sound, but with power. Everything around her exploded in light. The enforcers were thrown back. The barn cracked. The trees outside bent under the force. And then, silence. She held Liam close, tears slipping. From her eyes, the first she had ever shed. The bond on her wrist flickered, and then faded to black. But Liam still breathed. He was alive barely, and the memory extractor melted in two beside them, melted from inside. The bond had protected him one last time. Rilla stood up, carrying him in her arms. She was done running now. She would fight. Rilla didn't know how far she had run. The forest blurred around her as she carried Liam through the darkness. Branches cut her face. Mud clung to her boots. Her side ached where the enforcer's blast had grazed her. But she didn't stop. Not once. Liam's body felt heavier with each step, not because of his weight, because of the fear that grew with every breath, the fear that he wouldn't wake up. He had gone quiet after the dart. His eyes had closed, but his heartbeat was still there, faint, flickering, like a candle in wind. She reached a small cave, hidden deep in the valley. The entrance was narrow. Human eyes would never spot it. Inside, the air was damp and cold, but safe. She laid Liam down on a blanket of moss and leaves. Her hands trembled as she opened her pack and pulled out the last healing serum. It wasn't meant for humans. She had no idea if it would help, but she had no choice. She injected it into his arm and whispered softly, "Stay with me." What hour passed? Maybe more. Then his fingers twitched, his eyelids fluttered, he groaned, and just like that, her lungs remembered how to breathe. He blinked up at her, confused, dazed. Did we make it?" She whispered, "You didn't." "Let me," he whispered back. That night, they didn't talk much. They just sat close, side by side. No plans, no questions. Just presence, just breath. Just the bond still glowing faintly between them, damaged but not broken. But Rilla knew. Something had changed. She had used forbidden energy when she attacked the enforcers. She had resisted a memory wipe. She had broken 1,000 laws. There would be no more warnings. They would come for her now, not as a lost scout, but as a criminal. And Valora had only one punishment for that. The stars shifted. Somewhere above them, a rift opened in the sky, silent and hidden. A transport ship descended faster than anything built by humans. It didn't scan, it didn't search, it simply landed. And waited. Rilla felt it the moment it touched down. Her chest tightened, wrist pulsed. She stood and looked at Liam. "They're here again. We can go further," he said. "We'll hide somewhere new." "No," she said quietly. "This time, we can't run. This time I go alone. No, Liam said. You're not leaving me behind. You don't understand, she said, voice breaking. They see you again, they'll finish what they started. They won't stop until you're gone. And if you die, she looked away, unable to finish. Liam stood. If I forget you, I'll find you again. If I die, I'll still choose you every time. I won't survive it, she whispered. Neither of them moved for a long time. Then, finally, Rila reached into her jacket and pulled out a small crystal. Clear, cold, softly glowing. She held it out. This is a pathstone. It will activate once I reach Valora. It's linked to my mind. You can follow it. But only if the Council allows it. Liam looked at it. What if they don't? Then this will turn dark. You'll know I didn't make it. He didn't take it, so she closed his hand around it herself. That was the last thing she did before she turned away and walked into the forest alone. The hunter's ship took her in silence. No restraints, no words, only the sound of her footsteps echoing. In the long metal hallway, she didn't see Earth disappear behind her. She didn't cry. Valora appeared hours later, silver skies, cold towers, perfect order. No dirt, no trees, no questions. They took her straight to the tribunal chamber. Hundreds of Valorans watched from above, their faces emotionless, eyes glowing with data. A voice echoed across the chamber, mechanical, powerful. R71, you broke genetic law. Formed a soulmate bond with a lower species. You revealed yourself, you resisted extraction. How do you plead? She looked up, guilty. Whispers spread like electricity. You understand the cost? I do. And still you defend the bond? I do. Why? She took a breath. Because it wasn't an error. It wasn't a malfunction. It was real. And if your laws say it's impossible, then your laws are broken. The crowd buzzed. The tribunal flickered red. Then you were sentenced. The doors slammed open. Everyone turned. Liam stood there, breathing hard, dusty, pale but alive. The tribunal reacted with weapons. But Rila stepped in front of him. No, she said. You wanted proof? This is it. He came across space for me. Without tech, without power, just the bond. The room held its breath. Then Liam stepped forward. I'm just a human. I don't have your strength, your ships, your rules. But I know what I felt. No machine. In this world can fake that. He held up the pathstone. It was glowing white. Pure, bright, undeniable. Soulmate's answer. The tribunal couldn't erase that. Even Valoran. Law bent that day. They didn't welcome Liam, but they didn't destroy him either. Rilla was stripped. Of her rank, branded a rogue, but she was free. Free to choose, free to leave. And when the stars opened once more, she held Liam's hand, not as a fugitive, but as someone who had chosen love over law and survived. Valora no longer felt like home. The tower still stood tall, reaching into the silver sky. The road still hummed with silent motion. The light still fell in perfect angles across the crystal walkways. But Rilla saw none of it the same way anymore. She had walked these paths her whole life, trained in logic, order, control, never knowing what it meant to feel something deeply. Until now, till Liam. They stood together in the quiet garden outside the tribunal hall, the only place in Valora where anything green still grew. Artificial trees, synthetic air. Still, it was something living. Liam sat on a bench made of silver stone, hands folded in his lap. His eyes moved across the alien city, taking it all in. It looked beautiful, cold, perfect, and completely wrong for someone like him. He didn't belong here, not really. But neither did Rilla now. They let us stay, Liam said finally. They didn't welcome us. I didn't expect them to, Rilla replied. They don't even look at me. They're afraid of what you represent. Which is, Rilla turned to him. Change. That word hung between them like a weight. It wasn't just about them anymore. Their bond had forced Valora to face a truth it had hidden for generations. That love couldn't be programmed. That connection wasn't just data. It was something wild, unpredictable. and powerful. Their story had shaken the system. But systems don't fall in a day. Later that night, Rilla stood in her old quarters for the last time. She touched the wall where her name had been etched as a top scholar, a loyal agent, a perfect citizen. It felt meaningless now. She no longer wanted medals. She wanted moments. Behind her, Liam entered quietly. "They gave us a ship," he said. "It's small, but it's fast." Rilla didn't turn. "And Earth, they'll monitor it. But they won't invade. Your testimony. It changed something. Maybe not enough. Something." She nodded. He stepped closer. "Are you sure you want to leave?" Rilla looked back at him. "This isn't leaving. This is going forward." They left Valora at sunrise. No crowd saw them off. No voices wished them luck. All just the quiet hum of the transport ship and the thin glow of the Soulmate mark pulsing on both their wrists. Space opened around them like an ocean with no surface. Stars scattered across the dark in every direction. Earth lay ahead, small, distant, fragile. Liam sat in the co-pilot seat, watching the stars pass. "I never asked," he said softly. "What happens to people like you, bonded to someone outside the system?" Rilla was silent for a moment. "We become stories," she said. "Happy ones," she smiled. "That depends on how they end." The ship's AI guided them through a stable corridor between systems. It was smooth flying, but the air between them felt heavier now, not dangerous, not tense, but filled with the weight of everything they'd lived through. A ping broke the silence. Liam looked at the monitor. "Incoming signal." Rilla checked it. Her brow tightened. "It's not from Valora," she said. "It's from a listening post on Earth's moon, a human station." Liam blinked. "My people." "Not military," she replied. "Civilian." "It's a message loop." Repeating. They let it play. A woman's voice spoke through static. "If anyone hears this, we've detected an anomaly in Earth's orbit. It's not from Earth, not from the Valoran system either. It's something else, something old. We don't know what it wants." Rilla and Liam exchanged a look. She tapped into the deeper data. Layer, the signal included an image, low resolution. A ship, massive and strange, floating near Earth's edge. No heat signature, no known design. A shape like a deep-sea creature built of metal and shadow. "It's not ours," Rilla said. "Not mine either." The silence stretched again. "So what now?" Liam asked. "We go see?" she said. Liam gave her a small smile. "Of course we do." Their ship turned gently, changing course toward Earth, toward the unknown. They didn't know if it was danger or discovery waiting for them. But they didn't run. They had already run too far. Hours later, they reached orbit, and there it was, floating above the blue curve of Earth like a sleeping god. The alien ship, silent, watching, waiting. Rilla scanned it. Still no movement? No signal? None. Liam leaned forward. "But it's alive." "Yes." She paused. "Whatever this is, it didn't come because of me, or because of Valora. It came. Now." Liam nodded, like it was waiting for the right story to begin. They looked at each other, and the mark on their wrists glowed brighter than ever before. Maybe this was what the bond had always been preparing them for. Not just love across species or survival across stars, but unity in the face of something greater. Not Valoran, not human. Something beyond, something waiting. And as their ship moved toward the alien presence, they weren't afraid. Together they had broken rules, survived trials, rewritten fate. Together they would meet what came next. Not as soldier and scout, not as human and alien, but as Somor, as one.